Hey, Ange.
Hey, Les. Ha-cha-cha. Why are you always like this?
I just get so... a couple reasons. One, I'm happy to talk to you.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
one. But I
Yes.
had somewhat of a long, kind of rough day today at work. So I'm kind of like using this time to decompress. So I'm happy
see.
that I'm not working. And
Got you. You could have stopped with.
I could
it
have
just
stopped that.
being
I'm
me.
happy to see you.
I would
Wait,
have
there's
been
more.
I would have been quite okay with that. No,
Yeah,
it's good
yeah.
to see you smiling.
Hello.
Hello, cello. Well, come on now.
Welcome to another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
I'm Angella, and that's Leslie, my best friend of almost 50 years. We are two free-thinking older Black women, and we've decided to be more bold and joyful in our lives, like to take that really seriously. And we started this podcast to share our story with you and hoping that you will join us and on the road to joy and boldness. Okay, you can follow us for sure because we do give insights and all that stuff on our journey, but we
do.
more importantly want to see you on the journey also.
Good point.
So today we're going to be talking about joy over fear. We do not believe in fearless, or we don't feel fear, or we believe we have experienced that you feel fear. Fear is a good motivator. Fear tells you to run when the bear is coming.
Yeah.
Fear is protection, but fear does not need to stop you from getting to your joy. And today we're going to be talking about relationships and how we made some decisions, very difficult decisions, to go towards our joy and to have fear step aside. So before we get started, Leslie, what you got?
We love it when you are along this journey with us. Hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications because you know we drop good stuff. I want you to know whenever it is that we're talking to you all. I love it even when you leave comments and we even give us suggestions on what we come up with later on. So hit like and subscribe now. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh.
It wasn't me. I'm just
She's
happy.
2 years old. She is really 2 years old. Sometimes she's 5. Today
I'm 2.
Today she's 2. She's 2 without the tantrum.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm also being a little extra silly, because I'm nervous. And one of the things that I notice with my patients, when they're nervous, they get extra chatty.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
they talk a
Okay.
lot. They talk a
Right,
lot. And
right.
I'm a little nervous because some of what we're going to be talking about today obviously is very personal. So there's some vulnerability there. And it also is going to require me to think about things that may not have been so pleasant and joyful at the time. So I'm just, trying to get that, wrap my head around that before you make me talk to the public
Well,
about stuff.
First of all, I got you. You don't have to talk about anything you don't feel ready to talk about.
Yeah.
And I also, as you know, but I'll never tire of telling you how incredibly proud I am of you for so many things. This in particular, how you wrestled with this, and you made some decisions that you planted your heel and you were like, joy schmoy, I can do without it. I'm good over here, just kind of being kind of set in place. And so I'm really proud of you. So hopefully you'll feel like your vulnerability was worth it.
Okay. I got that. Thank you. And I receive it.
Okay, good. Hey, it's Coach Angella here. I wanted to remind you that my coaching practice is available for older women who are ready for more joy in their lives and who are interested in more joy-filled money making. I have honed my practice over lessons that I've learned, lessons that I have experienced deeply from a position of wanting, desiring, going after, not giving up on getting more joy in my life. And I am available to teach you some of the tools and skills that I've learned. You just have to set up a free consultation with me. We'll talk for about 20 minutes. We'll see if we're a good fit. And if we are, we will start doing this joy work together. So, Leslie has had the most recent experience around relationships and things that we chose to step away from. I've definitely had my share. I will share some of that with you. And you should know by now that I've been divorced twice. I was married once for 12 years. That is the father of my 3 beautiful children. And I had a short marriage for about 5 years, but we were really together only for 2 or so. And so a lot of kind of decision making around that, and especially with children, deciding. I actually didn't decide. I actually heard a very audible Holy Spirit saying, "You're enabling some pretty wicked behavior, and you ought to stop. You ought to stop." And by then I was so, and this is really the blessing that came out of that very dark time in my life, was that is when I really got to know my Savior really well. We spent a lot of time together, and it was just a raw and honest outpouring of myself to Christ, and I will forever be grateful for that time on my knees. It was during that time that I actually felt him hold me, like physically. I felt the embrace of God during that very stormy time. And at the same time, everything was going on, right? You had to decide where you were going to live, what were the children going to do, and all the things and all the things and all the things. And then, and then I'm going to, because it sounds like you're almost ready. Then, it was ultimately his decision to divorce. I decided that I needed the separation because it was getting a little too dicey, a little too emotionally abusive, and some physical abuse too. And then when the Holy Spirit spoke to me, after that, it was primarily me being obedient. I did not feel like I was in control per se. I felt like I was leaning in to what I was supposed to do. And so it honestly, the tactical stuff, some things were difficult, right? You got to pack up a house, you got to do the yard sale, all that stuff. Yeah. But the emotional was a lot easier after that because of that. And I won't talk about the second one right now, but the second one really was like, okay, and you're the common denominator here. What is going on? And that was, no children involved in terms of, I didn't have any children with him, but it was emotionally, oh my gosh, I went through it with myself.
Sure, I can imagine that.
Yeah. So.
And I think that it's certainly natural for us to start thinking, what is it that I did wrong? These are people that we've chosen.
Right.
And these are people that we thought we would be together with, forever. I can speak for me, and knowing enough of you that I know that that was your case as well.
Right.
What I think is so significant about, as I'm listening to you speak, about how you really heard his, capital H, telling you, his leading you to leave a situation that was not for you.
Yeah.
It was the opposite of it for me. Because as a Christian wife, I had my former spouse and I married 20 whatever years ago. We had been together about 30, right?
Total, yeah.
And while we didn't have children together, he raised, our son. He's still my son's dad. He raised my son, not his biological child, since he was 2 years old. So, I always say Mari's been blessed to have two dads. But the point that I'm making is that as a Christian woman, my interpretation of the Bible was that we marry forever. The old saying, for better, for worse. And when things became really intolerable in my marriage, I just assumed that that was the worst. I still, I am charged to accept that.
Right.
And the better will come perhaps later. And 20 plus years, it just got worse. In my case, it's in retrospect, it's so easy for me to identify this now, but I needed to step out of it in order to understand really what was going on. And I have a education in psychiatry. I've been a sexual violence advocate, a volunteer advocate for many years in my county. So I understand what dysfunction is, what mental illness is. I understand what bad relationships look like.
What abuse looks like.
And what abuse looks
in
like.
all of its forms, yeah.
Sure. And yet, I really could not see myself in such a bad situation until I stepped out of it. But again, the back of my mind was that, okay, if this is the worst, the better is coming. And you made a vow, Les, and you know how I am about my word and things like that, especially if I'm making pledging my word to the Lord. Then I figured that, and the other thing about my life, as many people who know me know, that I have such a rich life outside of my marriage. I have a great friend relationships. I love my work. I have so many other outlets that what I found that was missing in my home was more than made up for the situation outside of my home. So it was easy to kind of overlook and isolate that as over there.
Right.
And then everything else is just fine.
I remember that you would still, like, you would take vacations together. You would, because I remember once we were going to go to Puerto Rico, and for a conference. You were going to join me at a conference, and then it turns out that we decided that probably not a good idea to go to the conference, because I'm going to be locked in on kind of entrepreneur life, and so he came along. And what kind of struck me at that time is how two people could be together and not be together. Right? That you could travel, same hotels, and not even like there was you know, you guys talk to each other and all of that. You
Yeah,
certainly,
yeah.
both of you talk to me, but there was still this this separation.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wonder about people who stay in marriages that may not be, you know, like how long is the long suffering, right? And
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
it about the number, or is it about, because you could stay that long and you could be in kind of, let's say, continual couples therapy, right?
Yeah,
And figure out
yeah.
and get better. And, you know, I'm not talking about a perfect, whatever the hell that means. I'm talking about, did you kind of have this, I know you weren't counting, but did you have this idea that no matter what, like, I made this commitment, it's not getting better after 20 years, but I'm in? Like, is that
I
what you were kind of
absolutely
feeling?
did.
Okay.
I absolutely did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that you mentioned about what you witnessed in Puerto Rico, because I think this may have been after we first separated, or very soon, while we were separated. Because, you know, I think all in all, he and I would have been much better friends than spouses, you know? And I think I confused the two, you know? but
Because you admired. There's a lot that you admired
yeah.
about him. Yeah.
And as a person, if I took myself out of it, there's much
Right.
that I still admire about him.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
you know, yeah.
Over there.
He was just not over there. That's what I always say. He was not a good husband to me. But what you actually saw was interesting, because the thing about it is that he and I had been living separate lives for quite a long time, and that's how we really managed to stay married together and got along. I had so many personal interests. It's almost like it was always a chasm. We saw things differently. We didn't see eye to eye often. And because we were both so independent, you know, he stayed in his lane and I stayed in my lane. And when it was time to go out to dinner or whatever, then we can join and have dinner and have, you know, and sit and talk about the news or whatever. But then we really weren't connected. So that became more and more apparent to me. I would think that if you're with somebody for a number of decades, that you would at least start, you know, like, you know, he's my best friend and we're really connected. And the disconnect became more apparent to the point where it was obvious to me that he didn't like me at all.
He didn't know you. He would not accept the things that were really remarkable about you. You know, he wouldn't even accept, you know, he just thought I had on rose-colored glasses. He would never believe that you and I have so many things that we disagree on, and still have respect. It's like one or the other. You can't disagree with someone and respect them, kind of thing. I think he was just really black and white, and I love him.
But I think in general, I can tell he didn't like me. So he would think that anything nice that other people saw in me, I had them fooled. Because he really saw the true Les.
If you only knew.
If you only knew. So everybody out there thought, oh, she's this great fun person. She's a great doctor. She's this, she's kind, she's giving, whatever. It's like, that ain't who she is. I know the real person, and, you know. And that's something that I've always felt bad about. And as you can imagine, as we were partnered for such a long time, I longed to have my husband see me for who I am.
Right.
And I would say, other than spending, you know, so many years in a relationship that didn't work out, that's my biggest regret. That he never saw, you know, who I am and was able to appreciate me for who I am. He never saw my heart. But he couldn't.
Right.
He couldn't. And I knew leaving became easier when I realized that there was nothing more that I can do to make him see me.
Okay.
Because I've sought help over the years, obviously.
Yeah.
I've spoken
We
to
might,
our pastors and clergy and
Right.
family members and this
Right.
and that. And,
Right.
I realized that I could not get any help for the problems that we were having.
Did you do that Imago?
We did.
Yeah, so did I. So
We
did I
did.
with number 2. It was
Yes.
incredible. I am going to see
Wasn't
that that documentary that you sent me.
Wasn't it incredible?
Yeah,
Oh, we
yeah.
need to talk about that in a whole.
Whole nother.
whole-
After I watch the documentary, we'll talk about it. But we'll put links to it here.
Yeah,
It's this
yeah.
way of communicating. It's not only for couples, as far as I understand.
No.
yeah.
Imago for children and this
Right.
and that. It's a communication technique
Yeah,
that really allows one to hear the partner. Because remember, one of the things that I am saying is the problem that I had for decades with the person that I slept with every night was that he could not see me, he
Right.
could not hear me. And this this coaching that this couple, Harville and I'm blocking on their name right now, and Helen, those are their first names, but they give you tools to help people communicate and hear each other.
Right.
And it was, I was laughing when I sent the link to the documentary out, because I'm like, it's a wonderful program. Didn't work for us, but it's a great program. But relationships are tough, and people have to go in it. Remember, as Monique says, wherever you go, there you are.
There you are.
So we bring ourselves into our lives and our situations and all.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm gonna say he couldn't do it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
he
push
can
you a
do
little bit, right?
Oh boy.
We may take this
me
part
drink
out
my
if she
iced
doesn't
tea.
want. Let me sip some tea. So I know a part of Imago is this idea of mirroring, and seeing each person involved, seeing the other as a full-grown person, a full-grown competent person who's carrying, and I'm paraphrasing here because it's been a long time, but this part was significant, who's carrying some childhood hurt, basically. They're carrying some childhood hurt. However, they are fully competent human beings, right? And what I remember, what still remains in what I learned from Imago is a lot about myself. So the question for you is, I know you're saying he couldn't see you, and that was a regret.
Yeah. I see where this is going.
Yeah,
I see where this is going.
And it's going this way because I think an important aspect of one being in joy and finding a joyful state and maintaining a joyful state is their self-awareness, right? And not and how empowered you are in not being triggered by other people, but finding yourself in every situation and kind of knowing how to go based on who you are versus being at the mercy of someone else or some other circumstance. So that's where this is coming from. Like, because I know that this is not a setup. I know that you learn things about yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
And what was one thing you learned about yourself? I can think of some, but because I know you.
I'll tell you, it's a little hard to think back at that time. One, because it's difficult, but also because I'm in such a happy different relationship right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such a different, it's so different. I know one of the problems I would say that he had that I own is that I became increasingly indifferent. And it was obvious, it was obvious that I just stopped, trying. I stopped caring. I think by time we had gotten to Imago, and this was maybe 5 years ago or so, but by time we had gotten there was, I think, so much water under the bridge at this point, and I never think that things are hopeless.
Right.
But I almost, and I've said this to you before, I think we stayed together too long, certainly for the wrong reasons. And those are some of the things that I want to mention, not necessarily right this second, but I want to mention that because these are some of the things that I had to shed in order to move to that joy point. And that I'll definitely own. Because there was a whole persona, there was a whole vision of things that I was holding and grasping that I should not have.
Yeah.
And it involved being honest with myself.
Yeah.
And you know how I am about honesty.
Yeah.
When I realized that I was not being honest with myself, first, that's when I knew that I needed to change.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I don't know if this is a secret, like my secret, not a secret between us. I don't know if I've ever said this out loud. Hopefully I have, but
you saw me naked one day. No,
too many times.
Too many.
So I used to have this dream that we could live closer together.
Oh, yeah,
right?
that I knew.
And I'm not done. That's not all. And it was just like, well, that's never going to happen because you've got this beautiful home. You put so much effort into making it this oasis and this place of refuge for any weary traveler. Let me tell you,
Leslie, many weary travelers.
Leslie is the hospitality, hospitality. I can't empress, right? The empress of hospitality. I don't like the queen thing because the queen and king, empress, emperor and empress. I like that. It's kind of a Jamaican thing, but Leslie's the queen of that. And so they had this beautiful home, well manicured, but nothing ostentatious, just a place where, the koi pond, and you had created this vision.
Very carefully curated.
Very carefully curated. And there was nothing fake about what you did, right? And I'm not saying this like this was a facade. I'm saying this like, bring it back to kind of my possible secret here is I was like, man, I wonder if there's a way that somehow he and Les could find, both find a hospital or medical practice to work where I am so we could all be together. And I was like, but she'll never leave this, situation that she has
carefully
created
curated sanctuary.
Yeah. And so when I saw, this is what I mean. When I saw that you were willing to let go of all of that, not even willing to let go, you were like, I don't want it.
I was running from that.
I don't want it. I was like, Oh,
What do you mean?
Snap. Oh, snap. That was like huge.
My mom said the same thing.
That was
Like,
huge.
what do you mean you're selling the house to him? What are you talking about?
Yeah. So, yeah.
That was huge, Ange. It was huge.
It was huge.
But it was so funny because I didn't give it a thought. It was so easy. When I decided that what was inside the walls of that beautiful home, when you take everything apart, there was no joy.
Right.
And that deep love in that home.
Yeah.
You know, we might as well have been, roommates, for a number of years. And that might be true in many marriages. I think we settle into our partners that we've been with for a long time.
Yeah.
The difference is you want to be with a roommate that likes you. You want to be with a roommate that respects you. And I think that mutually we lost respect for each other. And you never want to diminish someone's humanity by doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and I think I'll own this, that he knew that I no longer respected his counsel, his leadership, his head of the household, all of those things. Okay. And I didn't want to live a fake life anymore. People did not know from the outside, after you pass the driveway with multiple cars, and obviously they're all fancy cars, and the acre of land, and the pond, and the greenhouses, and the this, and the this, and the that. It's like when you strip it down, you're there by yourself. And only you look in the mirror. Yeah. And I said I did not want to stay in that home because it did not have the memories that it was supposed to have for me. Right. I thought by making, I always thought, what did I know about being, a wife? I was 40 when we got married, even though we had been together before that. But I thought that if you make a nice home, if you cook regularly, if you know what I mean, if you dress it up, and if you do all the things, and that I'm like,
and if you dress you up
into physical labor, so I did all the accoutrements and all the stuff in the house stuff myself,
outside too, in the yard
and out and whatever. I thought that those were some of the tenets of whatever, but it really isn't. It really isn't. That's good. Yeah. But those are not the deeper things. And these are some of the lessons that I carry into my current relationship, which is just, I'd say, wonderful, I'm feeling the joy of that. And I also know that my partner respects me as a person. And I feel that,
Yeah, that external stuff is really like we think it's like glue, but it's actually becomes claustrophobic, right?
Yeah.
I remember our house in New Jersey. My ex-husband and I built that house like from ground up.
Yeah.
And it was showy. It's definitely more what he wanted than what I wanted, but I wasn't mad at it. It was okay, you want a big house? You want to have to put curtains up on 50 windows, or you want to, buy carpet
I can make those curtains, as you did.
It becomes this thing that, it's just like, it's what's going on inside, right? That fulfills you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you're driving up to the house, as I did, and pull into the garage and you have to sit in there for a few minutes to kind of prepare yourself for going inside.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Then what do you care how beautiful the surroundings are?
It's just,
yes.
you're saying all the prayers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get triggered, you know, all the
let
things.
Let there be peace in the house. And,
yes,
yes.
yes.
And then it becomes so obvious that, wait a minute, come on now. But I'll tell you why. One of the reasons why it's so difficult is because you get so much feedback from the outside, you know, from colleagues, from your neighbors, from your friends, you know. We get built up and we kind of buy into that these are the things that you should do. This is what a home that two physicians own should have, or not just that. It's like it was a comfortable home for me, my family, my friends, and entertaining and this, you know what I mean? But where are your priorities and what are the things that are important?
Yeah.
You know, and it just, as I got older, I realized that, you know, I know this is going to sound really funny, and maybe our people who are listening can really relate. One of the things, it was kind of like a measure. I know it's going to sound crazy, but I said, I don't want to die with this person.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to be in my last days.
Yeah.
You know,
you literally, Les, because
yes,
when you did your living will, we don't have to go into, but it became apparent that this person may not be the best person to make decisions about.
We couldn't even get along for that long. We couldn't even get along that long. He could not abide by my wishes.
He would not respect you in death. He wouldn't respect
really
you
couldn't.
in death.
I did not want to be on a ventilator or this, and he's like, you will live forever if I can.
You will be shriveled up.
Cold, cruel hands. You know, yet one other disagreement we had. Why are you making Angie and your sister your healthcare power of attorney? Because you told me you couldn't do my, you know, this is what I say to my patients. You know, they say, yeah, we wanted Dad to keep him on the ventilator. I said, listen, you gotta, let me remind you. As your dad's power of attorney, you are speaking for what he would want, not what you would want. Are you sure that he would want this trach and peg put, you know, even though he's saying right now he doesn't want it? Are you sure that's what he wants?
Yeah.
You know, but we often have to be reminded, but that was funny. Yeah, he says, nope, only God has the power. What, the power to intubate me and put me on a ventilator and set the settings to volume control? What?
Oh my gosh.
You know, people don't realize that it is also God that's making your heart stop.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Mummy would say you take that thing make joke. So let's get to the joy. Let's get to the joy part. Because that was a lot of fear. And, you know, it's like gearing up for joy. Gearing up for joy.
But let me just say one other thing about the fear. I can laugh about it now. You know, I was afraid to leave. I was afraid to be on my own.
Yeah.
I was afraid in the future to start dating again. What would that look like? I hadn't dated in 30 years. You know, there was so much uncharted land in front of me and so many things to fear. I haven't lived alone in many years, you know. Right. Maybe when we were roommates was the last, well, that wasn't even alone, right?
Wasn't exactly.
So I was afraid to leave, even though it was a situation that was bad. I did not know that the unknown seemed almost untenable. And that kept me also, you know.
Okay.
It really did.
The devil, you know?
Because you know how I am. I don't like change. I'm change
Right.
averse. I've
Right.
been in my job for the last 20 years. I have had my hair the same way for 40 years, whatever. I don't like change. And, I settle into something that's pleasurable for me and I kind of stay in it. Even in this situation, I said, I'll make do, I didn't realize that what was in me was the ability to thrive. That term is like he's blocking. He was blocking me for real. Because it really wasn't until I was out of that situation did I realize that I had the capacity to love in the way that I had not in so many years.
Wow.
In such a long time. And receive love.
Yes. That part.
Yeah.
That part. You had mentioned in a few episodes ago that one of the things that your future self would thank you for is that your relationships, they do not still there's not anger that is your memories of these relationships are not like mired in anger.
And I think
so
that's
on.
really good. Yeah. I'm not taking bitterness into the my current love relationship. I'm really trying hard to see it as a new opportunity and leaving a lot of that sadness and baggage. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
I'm getting therapy right now, and I talk to my therapist about it. And I'm like, you sure? You sure? What do
By
you
the
think
way,
about?
therapy and much of all the good things, the Bible says, every good thing, every good blessing comes from the Lord. Therapy is one of those things. We are proponents of good therapy.
Good counsel, because we don't have all the answers.
That's right. It is not in opposition to our faith. Why?
Yeah.
Why? You can please get your therapy. So that is helping you to move into this joy place. And number one, that's something that the way my heart swells when I know that you are you're putting your mental health, your joy, your desires for joy, you're giving it so much priority in your life right now. Listen, for as long as you've known him, as a matter of fact, you and I met him together. We won't go into the story, but you and I met him together. So I have known him for as long as you have.
Yeah. By the day.
And the ways that I've seen you move through to where you are now, it's like,
oh, I ain't there yet either.
I know you're not there, but I'm saying, we don't think about sometimes when we're in a thing that there could be, and what I would suggest, if you let joy really take the wheel, and if you hear these sayings that I'm using, joy to me is divine. It is from the divine, right? If you let that take the wheel, it will help you put so many things in your rearview mirror, things that you never thought when you're in it that there would be a life, a big, full, joyful life on the other side. And knowing what I know about what you've been through, knowing what you know about what I've been through, that we can look at some of these things and come out, and we have some scars, but they're not scars that are interfering. They're scars that let us know that we can survive shit.
Yeah. And
You,
they're
you know what I
knowing
mean?
scars, they're wisdom
Exactly.
scars.
That's right.
And you know, you
That's
look
right.
back in the rearview mirror and you're like, what the hell? You know, it's like, but I think that every experience, especially something so profound as this, it's useful.
Yeah.
It's God put you in these situations for
That's
a reason.
right. That's right. Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's not time
Absolutely.
wasted.
Yeah. Yeah. You always have to ask God, what is the lesson when you're in the thing? What is the lesson? That posture to me is what saved me every time. Every time is not to kind of stay in a woe is me, but God, like I know you know it before it happened. Like what would you have me learn in this situation about myself, about the other person, all the things.
Sure. You can only imagine me and my, you know, having been married for so long.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did I stay then? Why did, you know, it's like I wasted so much time. No time is wasted.
No time is
wasted. You know, while you're alive,
Yeah.
there's no time wasted.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When
if
you
you're
know
learning
more,
from
you
it,
do better. Yeah.
If you're learning from it, doom scrolling for the rest of your life, I think that's wasteful. We're just making sure that's clear. All right, very good, very good. So now I think we're both on the joy side of this particular
I think this
era
particular
in relationship.
Fear.
Yeah, this particular fear. I think I'm good. I don't think I'm perfect. In terms of, you know, things will come up in my new relationship, your new relationship, I'm sure. But when I say that we're good, I think that we are, both of us, on this journey of continual improvement, self-improvement, self-awareness, self-improvement, that cycle. And so what we have going forward in relationships, we may have our thing, we will have our thing, but they will look very different than what we've been through,
that's
right?
For sure.
And that's lessons learned.
Amen to that. Let me ask you this. Put you on the spot.
A question for me? No.
Would you marry again?
Oh, whew. Would I marry again? Oh boy, Les.
All right, you can think about it.
Yes, I would.
You would.
I would. I would do it for very different reasons. I would do it for very different reasons. And so I'm going to think about it good and hard, because I don't want it to be, I don't want it to have the same, I'm going to say it this way, I don't totally mean it. I don't want it to have the same trappings as why I got married before.
Oh, no,
you know what I mean?
It. Absolutely.
This one will be different, and there is some work that I have to do before that. But yeah, because I'm in love, and love feels good, and it feels
like butter.
It feels like flow. It feels like flow.
Yeah, I hear you. Good for you, babe.
All right. How are we on time? We're good?
Yeah, we're good. But I think we're good.
What else? You want to say anything?
I have said it all.
You have said it all.
Actually, I'll say this.
What? Ooh, isn't this one a doozy? We're telling all the people all the things, but that's what we do. We are truth tellers, and we are joy seekers, and we will continue to do that. There is a bit more to this episode that is reserved for our Patreon subscribers. Leslie and I both do some more revealing, and she shared a bombshell. I didn't even know. Listen, by becoming a subscriber, you really help us to fund this podcast. It is our way of meeting some of the expenses that we have for bringing this content to you. We've been doing this for almost 3 years now, and your support would really be helpful. You can subscribe at the $5 or $10 level. Just head on over to Patreon, that's Patreon, and do a search for Besties, Quad Squad. BESTIESQUAD SQUAD. Who came up with that name? That was Leslie, but it was so cute. It was a take on the Mod Squad. Anyway, head on over to Patreon, become a subscriber. We would really appreciate it. And best of all, hear the big news that Leslie shared with our subscriber group. Thanks.
All right. This has been another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn. Leave comments. Tell us what you think.
Come on now. What do you think? Disagree with us. Do something.
Yeah, come on.